Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very, very special episode of Guns, Roses, and Spirituality. And we have an honored and special guest, Soleil, with us. And we're super excited for today's topic. We're going to be talking about manifesting money and business in a more aligned way that may not necessarily be with that masculine energy and focus and discipline. And I think this is going to be such a really great conversation because Andy, you've also started your online business too. So I think it will be great to kind of explore that, like what we mean about the masculine and feminine energy in this. I think just overall, how you can really thrive in a business without logic and really just using your heart and your energy and your vibration in this.
Okay, I'll start us off by kind of talking about like the before, right? Like kind of what things look like for most people before like the transformation and stuff. And yeah, like it's very logic based, but it's just basically we have a lot of negative thoughts. Like we have a lot of negative thoughts about money or about like business or about like yeah, just abundance in general. And so the first thing that I help people do is first of all, I ask like, okay, what is their like manifestation or spiritual practice on this topic look like? And usually it's non-existent, or if we're lucky, they might do some affirmations about abundance and money and stuff like that, which is great, like, which is cool. But basically, like, the first thing is kind of realizing everything's internal. So the first thing is kind of I help people take their attention away from all this like external action. I'm not saying action is not necessary, but it's like 100% of our focus is just on the external and trying to make things work when our vibration isn't good. So, and our vibration is dictated by the thoughts that we think. And so that's literally the key is to clear resistance. And so the first thing I do is help people, become present and quiet their mind. And as the listener attempts this, they're going to see that as you try to meditate or quiet your mind throughout your day, a ton of fears about lack or bills or things being due is going to come up. It's literally the art of transmuting that. So you're going to see that when you take like literally 90 to 95 of your attention and put it towards your internal practice, mainly to reduce your negative thoughts, that things will drastically change, like pretty immediately, depending on how effective you are with your practice. And the last thing I will say really quickly is I can't remember, but yeah,
I'll come back.
it's just clear resistance and taking that internal approach. That's a good start.
It is a good start, and it's interesting because so much of what you do, Andy, and what you have done for yourself and what you teach people is like how to I'm going to say operate more in your feminine when it comes to money. But what the key differentiation here is that it's not like a man thing or a woman thing, right? We're not saying feminine equals woman and man equals masculine. It's that we all have both. As far as I'm concerned, the true divine union happens within when you have mastered both your masculine energy and your feminine energy. And we need both of them because, of course, no matter what, there's still action to be taken. But hustle culture has made us think that the action taken is the number one thing you should be doing, and if you're working 18-hour days you should be getting the applause, when it's really like, first of all, most of the time if you're working 18-hour days you're just like secretly trying to avoid yourself for some reason, and second of all, you're lowering your vibration, you're not taking care of yourself, you're not doing the things that you need to do to keep yourself at a high functioning level, and therefore you're not operating at your highest potential as a human being. So why do all of that just because hustle culture told us it's cool to work hard and do that? So the shift, and I think the shift into new earth is so much more about energy and vibration and existing as high vibrational people. And this is like the kind of master code to that, because of course money does influence our reality in many ways. Like right now, money is the currency, and money is the number one tool that's used to keep us in fear and in scarcity and like out of our power. So when you shift to like, actually, I don't have to work harder, I just need to change my internal paradigm so it reflects in the external paradigm, and that I'm living out this new reality wherein I trust that money's going to come to me easily. I will manifest money easily in ways that I can't even sit here and like make a 5-year plan for. It's just going to come, and it does. I mean, anybody who's like practiced the law of assumption understands it literally does. However, as Andy's describing, it's not that you're just sitting around like, okay, when's the money going to come? Like, you got to do some work, right? You got to
Yeah.
like script it out. You have to run the resistance training around like where you feel like you're not worthy or whatever other, lies that your like internal program is telling you about why money's not coming, and clear that out and focus wheel and do all the things. Like there's stuff to still do, but it's not the hard work, go out and work all day and avoid yourself and all that. It's actually the opposite. It's go inward and figure out where you yourself are blocking the stream of money that you want.
Okay, I remember what I was gonna say because of what you said. So number one, we each go through like phases of like clearing on money in abundance, and so basically we look at what's going on in your life right now. So, maybe it's a client who I'm just working with, and, they're stressed by constantly having to work and then a lot of bills and stress and pressure. And then that's like what's relevant to them. So that's what we address. So whatever is in your vibration, especially on these topics, will show up like in your immediate reality. It's been there. And then so we take what you're suffering from on this topic. Usually, it's like the lack of free time and just like stress and just responsibilities, right? And then we start clearing on that. We start releasing your internal negative thoughts, and we do these processes, these effective processes to shift that, and then things will start shifting. So basically, to what Soleil is saying, it's just like, yeah, like we we lock in on the inner work because we are vibrational beings. We are literally divine creators. And so it's like our level of faith in that is just gonna have to continue to grow, but not in like a woo-woo way. In like through direct application, you're gonna see more and more that you are God. Like you're gonna see more and more. Um, you're gonna have a lot of moments, especially in the beginning, of like not being sure, because like you could say, "Oh, I'm gonna do this practice." Like transcending beliefs, especially core beliefs, is gonna involve these moments of like unknown and uncertainty, because that's literally like the place. That unknown place is literally the place where you transcend these beliefs. Like you're not gonna transcend beliefs from a place of like total 100% like no doubt type of place. Like there's gonna be a level of like uncertainty, and that's where you transcend. So um yeah, so you're gonna see like you are a divine being, so you calibrate to the reality that you want. You calibrate to an abundance. And so that's what I do is I help people not only clear resistance, but do like 5 to 10 to 30 minutes of affirmations a day on abundance, on their business, and then clear their negative thoughts.
Mhm.
So that's really my formula. Like the positive, like add the positive thoughts, which is, the affirmations and stuff like that, the assumption, whatever, just any positive thing. As long as you do it internally, as long as it's not like you listening to like affirmations, or like you just want to say it or actually visualize it, I highly recommend that. And then yeah, just clear resistance effectively through presence and through the focus wheel. Yeah, it's a very internal approach, and you're gonna see if you do it effectively, you will see pretty immediate results. Like with all my clients, it's like when it's working, when you're for 30, 40, 50 years of your life, you've never seen a certain type of result. And all of a sudden, overnight or by the end of the week, like things that you houses, like 6 figures, like just new crazy job opportunities, or just new businesses and stuff like that, just coming out of like nowhere by the day. And another thing I would say is there's like this thing. I I feel like, I don't know what's the best way to say it, but it's like this, like everyone has this initial abundance that's theirs, that like once they start clearing resistance, it'll come in, and like it comes in a lot of different ways. Like some people, like when I help them clear resistance, they finally learn, maybe they have a large audience and they finally learn how to tap into that and make money from that. Or like, for me, I unlocked a lot of my abundance through helping my family with their business and stuff like that. But for our best friend Corey, like he was able to unlock like his tattoo business and make a lot of money, and just ball out and stuff. And so everyone has their own version of that. When you start just unlocking your vibration on this topic, like some type of massive abundance will just literally start flowing in as you clear day by day.
Do you want to add? No, yeah, I was gonna go ahead. I was gonna say go ahead because I feel like you you have it.
Yeah.
You're ready.
So, and I feel like there's something really, for me personally, I think because I've had years of clearing resistance and building up that natural faith, just because it's like, it's so obvious, like what you were saying, Andy, it's like, it's so hard to ignore after a while, the crazy results you're going to get. And I feel like that kind of just like goes into that vibrational piggy bank of like faith. It's like, okay, like, shit, that situation worked out perfectly. Like, why would I be stressed about this? Like, and if there is, it's kind of like that fine tuning pieces of it. It's like, okay, like there's still a little bit of resistance here that I could clear to move forward. And I'm in an interesting position right now because I had originally quit my 9 to 5 about 3 years ago now, 2021, 4 years ago. Dude,
Yeah,
as soon as
for
that's crazy. Literally 1 week after I quit, I was kind of in the mindset, I was like, I'm so free. Like, I was just like basking in deliciousness of the freedom. I did not give a crap about money because I knew the universe was going to take care of me. Like, I had built that so much faith at that point. A week later, I get hit up for a contract, working less than half the time and making the same amount of money I was before. And like with the Abraham Hicks cruise, I remember it was for the Adriatic cruise. I didn't have any money at that point because I had just been like once I
same.
was working part-time, dude, I was just traveling nonstop, especially with all that freedom. But the money kept coming in like magically. And when I signed up for the Abraham Hicks cruise, I did have a tiny bit of like resistance only because it's like I'm feeling this really big urge and impulse to sign up, but there's nothing in my bank account. So I charged it to my credit card. A couple weeks later, I get a contract, literally the exact amount of money I would need for the Abraham Hicks tickets and like a couple of thousand just to spend in Europe while we're there. And I'm really excited. Throughout the couple of years, like I've been in a 9 to 5 again. And I think like just on a side note, I think like I needed to learn from technology specifically and managing people how I can clear resistance constantly. Just like knowing that like no matter what bug comes out in terms of like managing people, like I feel like that was my lesson there. But go ahead, Adi.
I just want to say, real quick though, like, before we used to also work in a physical place,
Yes,
and then
yes,
yeah, and now it's fully online.
yes. Now it's fully remote. And that's crazy. Like I can't even think of a reality where I would be working in a physical place. Like unless it's like my own business or something like that. But that's something to manifest too. That's a form of abundance, having that freedom to like work wherever you want and really whenever.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I want you to finish.
So I'm really excited now. I'm gonna quit my 9 to 5 again, and instead of traveling, I think like I'm gonna chill out on that a little bit. But I am gonna go full force on building an online business. And I would say really, the only resistant, not even resistance, I think it's just getting more clarity of like what am I truly passionate about, and what do I want to do every day. I feel like that's kind of like the place I'm at, and I just have like full trust that's like, hey, like, dude, that the how is none of my business. I just have to go for it and just like listen to my guidance and listen for that inspired action step by step. But no part of me feels like, yeah, like I have to work like 18 hours a day. That makes no sense to me. And so
Yeah,
like I really love what you said about like how like honestly like people like that like they kind of it does make sense like they must be running away from themselves in a sense because that's not normal behavior whatsoever.
No. And it's interesting because we consider those like the greats. I mean, think about like the people who put in the crazy work to become like the greatest of all
Hmm.
time. And now we're like, interesting that now when you look at it from like an energetic perspective, vibrational perspective, like, what are you running from? And so that's in a way like what has like painted our reality with like what greatness looks like is like hard work, slaving away, 12, 18-hour days, 7 days a week. Like now it's a little suspicious because it's like now these folks who are the greatest of all time, like what were they running from the whole time that made them
Yeah.
like that, like diligent with their running in a way, and not to knock their work because it's hard work, and like, I guess that's great that you were that focused and committed, and what they've done great things, but even still,
Yeah.
like imagine what new world will open up when greatness comes from fine tuning your vibration, when
Hmm.
greatness comes from, materializing your inner desires and your outer reality through stillness practices and resistance practices and such, like totally different paradigm of greatness will come from that than from like the hard work, hustle culture lies of like, working hard equals success.
Yeah.
okay. Um, what would you say like? Because I would imagine that like the people listening, some people might be like, okay, like first of all, how do they apply this? But also like, how can they be sure? Like, what can they expect? Like, it's just kind of like,
Mm.
how do and they have responsibilities and stresses and like things that are due. So it's just like, what, how should they approach this?
Answer with two things. First is to maybe kind of focus wheel your way into it, so you're not just quitting everything, especially if you have kids or other people that you're responsible for, and you're not just like cold turkey, like I'm all in. Just to like, even for me, that looked like for a long time, for quite a while, part-time work, like in a field that wasn't like my work, and then doing my work. And so it was kind of my way of like focus wheeling myself in, so that I just got comfortable and more comfortable in just relying on my work, and now I just rely on my work. So that's the first thing. The other thing is that the beautiful thing about all of the things that we're describing is, wherein before it used to be kind of woo-woo and what have you, but insert Abraham Hicks, insert even Dr. Joe Dispenza, who now is like, the science is here. Like, what we're talking about is not this far out concept of like we're pulling it out of thin air. I mean, we literally kind of are, but at the same time, there's the quantum physics backing now, and this is like the foundation of Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, is like tune into the quantum field wherein this reality is already existing, memorize that vibration and carry that, and don't keep that same energy basically always, and that's what we're talking about. Now, it sounds easy to do that. Well, okay, then just close my eyes and hop into the field, and like then it's going to magically appear. But that's what we're describing, that there's a process to get to the place where that is your baseline frequency. You go from like scarcity and fear and lack as your baseline frequency, because that's frankly what we're taught and what most of our parents and the older generations live in and have passed down to us. And so we're like, okay, we're going to rewrite that. And so we need to go into the field to feel the energy of like, okay, how would it feel to just be completely supported in X, Y, and Z, working, 15, 20 hours a week, or however much you want to work, affirming, say, I make $10,000 a month, or whatever, however much you want to make a month, and feel that energy, and then come back to the present where it's like, okay, but what if, and then go into the what if, and go into the resistance, and go into the doubts and the fears and the lies that live in your subconscious programming, and extract them, remove them. So there is work to it, and there's the science to say this is literally like already happening no matter what. We're already creating our own realities no matter what. So we might as well be conscious creators, like master artists and master creators, instead of just being like victim to our
Yeah.
own reality that we're already creating. Like, it's silly to think about how much people are literally, you do this already. You're either doing it in your
Yeah.
favor, or you're doing it against yourself. Either way, you're doing it. So you might as well get good at it, so you can create the reality that you want, instead of out here creating the reality that you don't want, and then you're pissed about it.
You know what's so crazy? I was going through my notes journal last night, and I saw a line. I must have picked it up from somewhere. Maybe it was Abraham Hicks. It was saying, you have a desire and like this like need for something more anyway. You might as well give it expression. And I was just like, whoa, that really hit me.
Wait, okay.
Like saying like we all have like these innate desires no matter what we're doing in the back of our minds. So it's like you might
Yeah.
as well just go for it and like make it come to life by giving it expression.
Express it like an artist painting. Like,
Yeah. Like why keep that vision just in your head?
And that's interesting you bring that up, because a lot of the switch is going from left brain to right brain. We're such a left
Mhm.
brain society. That is the masculine side, is the
Mhm.
left side. It's more analytical, it's logical, it's rational. You're creating your 5-year plan based on like what makes sense and trends and
Mhm.
patterns and what you can study and measure. And the right brain is like the creative, like, I'm going to pull something out of the divine,
Yes.
and I'm going to manifest it, materialize it, and create it and make it. And that's the more of the feminine ideology. And that's why, like, I say that this is such an incredibly powerful practice for women in particular, men too,
Mhm.
because I think we're all stressed. This whole society is crazy stressed, and it has to do with work, and it has to do with money.
Mhm.
If those were not factors anymore, if everybody just got money out of thin air, we would be a much less stressed society. We'd be a much more high functioning, high vibrational
Yeah.
society, but that's not the case yet. So, but for women especially, we're like not meant to, like, we carry stress a little differently than men. I think generally, like, men can like use stress in a way that's kind of more purposeful, whereas women, we like, we manifest stress as like disease, and like things that we don't want, basically. And that's not all. It's not like black and white, that men is this way and women are this way, but I think that so many women are like trying to kind of figure out, how can I like make good money, without
Yeah.
like slaving away, or being fully in my masculine
Yeah.
paradigm constantly, or
Yeah.
OnlyFans, or whatever other these options are that women do, if that's maybe not your jam. And so, and this is it. It's literally this. It's mastering the law of attraction. It's mastering your magnetism. It's mastering law of assumption. It's mastering your energy. And again, it's for everybody. I'm in no way, shape, or form saying that it's only for
Mhm.
women, but I think that this is the key to help women, especially, become more in their power financially, and
Mhm.
understand the power they have to magnetize the reality that they want.
And
Wow.
I know you have something to say, but this reminded me too, like just like how important it is too to understand that like abundance isn't just financial. Like, and especially like as you're cultivating and really like building a business, it's like the abundance could come into the form of the perfect person coming into your life to help you, someone like to help you with business or whatever the case may be. It could be you finding that key piece of information that's gonna like unlock everything. It could be that amazing idea you have after meditation, or like you're just kind of like in your flow state, that just takes you to a whole nother level. So it's like I feel like it's not just about the money. It's like how everything comes together to like build this like beautiful, delicious recipe.
Yeah, and like usually when you have that awakening moment to like, okay, shift internally, it's usually when like shit's hitting the fan for you, like, like financially or whatever, like you're starting to know, you're starting to like kind of feel that, okay, whatever I'm doing with all this external logical stuff isn't really fully working. Like, it's like there's something, like kind of missing. And, like, my best friend, like, he was like super late on like rent. He's about to get evicted. Like, like he's like back against the wall, right? And then, like, not to take too much credit, but like I helped him, focus with a little bit, and then like next thing you know, this motherfucker like gets a phone call, like come out to like the islands. Like, there's no tattoo artist. It's a long story short version, but yeah, there's no tattoo artist. So how do you go from like the same month, like kind of like, super late on rent, like you're getting kicked out like in like a few weeks, like, struggling, to like next thing you know, you're on the islands in the Caribbeans and you're just like making bank, like just tatting every single soul on the island, like, and then everyone's like, yeah, he's like, oh, and now he's like overworked, like now he's like having like overflow of clients like within just a short period of time. So it's just like, to what Jasmine is saying, like it's not even logical. Like, if you just tap into that frequency, like things will literally just line up like that, and it only takes like one adjustment for everything to go. And also, to your point, so they like, with the whole like, left brain right brain thing, I will say this, like, when you tap into the vibration of what you want, the sort of logic and strategy, the business strategy, or even like the fitness strategy, or whatever topic, will sort of like come to you if it's needed. Meaning, like the structure is a cooperative component of this vibration that you're tapping into. So you don't even really need to focus on it, but yeah, like, but just by tapping into like the vibration of the business or the money, whatever that you want, the logic and strategy will just appear to you. Like, it will just be just a part of that manifestation, rather than worshiping logic and strategy, right? Like, like as I'm like starting to tap into more of this spiritual empire, it's like, I'm realizing, man, the way that I approach business is very amateur. Like, I'm not trying to like, lower myself, but I'm just kind of realizing, wow, I do things in kind of a way that I now that I want to build an empire, I need more structure. I need more, just to take my business and stuff more seriously. And then Jasmine out here wanting to quit her job and then like, help me and, and build this empire together. And it's just like, she has all the fucking like corporate, like business, like experience in the world. And she's like exactly what I need. And, to help me with like my business and everything. And she's my best friend, and I can't ask for a better like business partner, or just, whatever in life. And it's just there. And so like with Jasmine coming in, it's like a lot of like the structure stuff, I don't even have to like do too much or worry about the logical stuff. Like, I don't even have to like, it's just like, the cooperative components is all taken care of. And same with me and Jasmine. Like, Jasmine is tapping into her abundance, and then it's like, hey, you have this spiritual teacher best friend who, you can co-create with. I
Yes.
can build an empire together, so it's like we're both cooperative components, and then it's just like, so perfect. So when you start manifesting, it's gonna happen in a way where it's gonna feel so natural and logical, but it's really not. But it's like, it's gonna feel so natural and logical when it happens, and it's gonna almost, I don't know, it's gonna feel crazy, but it's gonna feel like it's gonna make so much sense. It always does. You just can't see it from your place of like current resistance.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
three threads that are like present in like what you've just said and what Jasmine shared prior. The first is like to Jasmine's point, abundance is not just about money, right? And so it's like even to say you want to take this trip or go on this cruise, like there's a random all expenses paid offer for you to come out to that city just randomly when you want to go, and like so it's understanding that it might not be a money for the thing exchange. It might just be that you get the thing by way of this because you're going to do this other thing and that's going to offer you what you want out of it. And it's true, and I think the expansion of what abundance even is a major huge component of this, because money is great. We all want to have enough money and be comfortable, and that's good, and that is important. And abundance is much bigger than that. Abundance is, offers from people that you're like, oh, what they're offering you a free place to stay or whatever it is, or you get a car from somebody or whatever random ways that your desires are fulfilled. So wish fulfillment doesn't always look like money. It's getting the thing that you want, sometimes by way of the money, sometimes by way of other things. The second thing, the thread is like Andy's point, to kind of everything that we've talked about. A big component of this is like trusting in yourself too, because it's you learn how to like you're gonna figure it out. You're just gonna figure it out, and that's like a foundational component of this. You have to trust that you're gonna figure it out no matter what. And so it's like you don't give there any other you don't leave any other option, but I'm gonna make it happen, and you lean all the way in. Like anytime I'm like I waver on my like manifestations, and I'm talking to Andy about it, he's like, oh yeah, you just need to like lean in harder, basically, and that's what it is. It's like you leave no other option, and there will be no other option. And then the third thread is that you have to leave space for the unimaginable. And I think that that's what the left brain doesn't do. It wants the 5-year plan. It's going to hit every bullet point of how to get there. And there's no space for the universe to like awe you. It's just like you're going to follow all these steps and make sure you do this, and that's how it's going to get done. Instead of like leaving space for like, I don't know how it's going to get done, but it's going to get done. A, because I'm leaving no other option. And B, because I know that the universe constantly awes me and blows my mind. And I'm create that. I'm going to add that into the business plan because it's so consistent and so like something you can't argue is like a major truth in all of this, that has to be a part of it. There has to be a bullet point that's just blank for the universe to fill in, because that's how it's going to go.
Okay, all right, that was genius. Like what you said,
Yes.
because I'm realizing, yeah, every time we manifest something like especially something like what feels really big, like the cruise or whatever, there's always so many factors that are unknown, like that just surprise and delight us out of nowhere that just falls in, and that's like one of the most wonderful and enjoyable parts of like manifestation is like you're co-creating with the universe. Like just choose what you want, and when you choose what you want vibrationally, I feel like you naturally, even if you're very specific, you naturally leave like space for the universe, like because it's just vibration based versus yeah, when you're very logic and action based, like yeah, like you kind of like there's much less room. But when you're vibrational, even when you're being specific, in my experience, things still come and surprise and delight you, like either way. So it's like a win-win to me. So it's just like perfect. But yeah, like so true because like that's what the unknown is, right? When you're walking into the unknown and just it's just kind of like you're trying to get to like point A to like B or something, and then there's like kind of like all these like holes, plot holes, like there's like unknown, this like blank space in the middle, and that's like the scary part. It's like how the fuck
Yeah.
am I gonna get there, right? But then that's when once you let go of clear resistance, that's when like all this like wonderful things that are so expansive and like such a level up that you can't even perceive right now will just fill in once you're like like vibrationally aligned. So that's such a great like
Yes.
because right now like think about all the things that we were reaching for vibrationally, and we're just like how, right? Because that's how it's gonna be, because that's why we're constantly reaching for more. Like it's always gonna be some level of unknown element to it, and so like you're really giving me faith in like even more faith, like wow, like this is perfect. Like, wow, this is even more exciting as I'm going to Bangkok and everything. Like, this is even more exciting. All the unknown is gonna get filled with something that like better than what I can ever like imagine.
And exactly to your point and what we're describing here, it's all about your relationship to the unknown. Because it's funny, how many times have I heard in like a client session, like, there's so much uncertainty, there's so much unknown. And I'm like, tell me more about that, because you can either be like, there's so much uncertainty, there's so much unknown, like, there's so much ways for the universe to like wow me. Or it can be like, I don't know, there's so much uncertainty, there's so much unknown, I'm scared, I don't know how it's going to work out. It's all about your relationship to the unknown,
Ooh.
which has a lot to do with the right brain. It's a lot to do with the feminine, because the feminine is like the quantum sort of unknown space. That's, and again, it's not man or woman, it's feminine and masculine energy. We're learning how to navigate the quantum. That's what all of this is about. And that is the realm of the feminine, if you will. That's the realm of like the unknown. That's the quantum reality that we're still like, we're not sure if that exists. Like, we sure know that like solar energy exists and now wind energy, but we're not sure if humans have energy. Like, you guys need to catch up. Humans definitely have energy. And we've been, the spiritualists have been saying that for time. Now the scientists are finally saying it. So you guys have no excuse anymore to get on board and understand that energy is the building block of reality in every way.
Okay, all right. My mind is blown because I'm truly realizing like just the unknown. Like basically, basically, if there's no level of unknown, there's sort of like no level up. But it's just like when we level up, it's just like it's the unknown. And how am I expressing this? Right, it's the holes in the plot that like really helps us level up. And so yeah, like we're literally just interacting with the unknown. The unknown is where it's like the portal where it's all filling in. It's all coming from. So anytime as a divine, like think about it, like I know Jasmine was on psychedelics on Abraham Hicks cruise crying to this, but like Abraham Hicks was talking about what did Abraham what did
They were basically explaining how, like, really, like, the most exhilarating and delicious and important thing that we're doing now as like in this human experience is just the newness of everything. Newness of like how we're tapping in and expanding like our new experiences.
so okay, yeah, anyway, so but like just like as God, like think about it, as God, like if there was no unknown, life, everything would just be stagnant and pretty boring, right? So as the divine creator, as God, what is more delicious than this infinite pool of unknown, right? Like that is what expands you as an artist, as a creator of your reality, as everything. Like this unknown is what we're here for. This is why we came into this physical vessel, to interact with this unknown and expand further as God.
Yeah, and it's the
Shit.
true master. The true master is the one who masters the unknown. It masters uncertainty, masters you being at like the very leading edge of possibility,
Yeah.
and increasingly so. Like, we're
Yeah.
never gonna know in advance like what's how to do it, or what's going to happen until it happens, or until we know how to do it. It's like trusting that it's okay to be on the leading edge. It's comfortable to be on the leading edge. And I mean, so much of Abraham Hicks' works talks about being on the leading edge of consciousness, because that's what we're doing being conscious creators. It's also what you're doing being a master. It's also what you're doing leaning into your own greatness. Because if you're truly in your own greatness paradigm, no one has ever existed like you're existing before. No one. You are the first one to exist as you exist. You're the first one of you to ever exist, and who has ever or will ever exist. So there's no one to look to as far as a role model, or they did it like me. No, you're going to do it like you, but you have to figure out what that means step by step by step. And there's so much unknown to that. It's like
Yes.
right before you put your foot down there, you trust that there's going to be a stone there, even if like by this time there's no stone there. And that's how greatness works. That's how mastering your own lifetime works, is like you just master faith that yes, universe will always meet you halfway. You will always be met with everything that you need halfway, even when it's like this close. As soon as your foot's down, the stone is there. That's what greatness is. There's a lot of unknown to greatness. You don't know. Living it out experientially, you're embodying what you know is true, and like following your highest excitement, which just brings out the highest reality, not only for you, but for every single person who gets to even interact with your energy field.
All right, yeah, no, you cooking crazy.
Really important for me too, to realize like as I got more and more comfortable with like the idea of just like completely like just letting the universe take care of me, like with my own business, no matter how that looks like, was the fact that like I don't want to follow a template. I don't want to follow anyone else's blueprint. Like I don't want to have to read like a business book and just follow it step by step. That just didn't make sense to me, because I'm like, why would I want to do that? Like, and I think it's so important to realize like, and that I think that could be another frame of perspective, like the fact that you are on uncharted territory. You don't have a path or a role model to necessarily look up to. Maybe people could inspire you, but it's like we're all meant to be on that path that's unpaved,
Mhm.
and to pave it
Wow,
ourselves.
wow, holy shit.
That's I keep using. I love like how Abraham just explains that. Like the word, it's so delicious. It really is. Like, bro, we're like in this untapped world completely. And you're so right, Soy. It's like, whoa, we're so like each of us is has that unique, completely unique journey just for ourselves.
Um, I want to say like I'm out here like feeling bad. I think Jasmine probably could relate, like, because like coming from traditional families, like I'm out here feeling bad because to be different, because it feels reckless. It feels like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? And now, like with what Soleil's saying, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh shit, yeah, I'm just being literally the purest expression of
Yeah.
me. Like, yeah, that's why there's no fucking template. Like now it makes total fucking sense. Holy shit.
Well, that's what makes it even like more, we'll say, delicious is that it is not uncommon for those of us who are on the leading edge of our own greatness to be the black sheep of our family,
Yes.
which means
Yeah.
there's this layer of like other people looking at you funny for like living a life that they don't understand. And it's the constant test of like, do you still believe? Because the people who've been there on this path with you the whole time might look at you like you're doing it wrong or you're not doing it like you should, or there's so many different layers of them being stuck in the old paradigm
Yeah.
and you having to be like, I need you to trust me. I need you to trust me 100%. You're not going to understand it until, like, maybe on some level of my empire where it has materialized enough for it to be seen by you. Until then, if you need to be the black sheep, if you need to
Yeah.
be misunderstood, that's going to be a major part of the path because you hardly understand it yourself.
Hmm.
You're not like trying to understand it. You're just trying to live it out as like leading edge as you can. So there's like a level of like how you relate to others even in all this that makes it like more challenging, if you will. And you know, challenge is not a bad thing, but it's true that like when your parents are like we're worried about them because they're they're literally be worried about you because you're on your leading edge of greatness and you're
Yes.
like, all right, girl, just let me cook.
Or the fact that
Wow.
they don't see us working hard and like being
Yeah.
miserable through the whole experience. First off, why would you want that? That's the part that they don't get. But I guess like honestly, you can't really blame them. That's what most
No,
people
of
position.
course.
Like you have to be almost like a little bit miserable. You have to work hard. What?
Wait. I just realized all like being traditional, logical, and like the old paradigm is holding on to as much of the seen and known as you can and working with just
Ooh,
that.
yes, yes. Whew. Bomb drop.
Damn. Damn. Tweet that, bro.
Yeah, immediately.
I just also like one of the last things I want to say is that and I'm saying this to myself and maybe to Jasmine too, but like if you just simply calibrate and choose your highest vision, your highest timeline. If you want to be as specific as possible, like for like for me, just like building this empire, I want to really lock in on like making money from coaching or whatever, right? Like whatever that is, whether I don't know, it's 100% the most divine, like exact path or not. This is my highest excitement, or this is kind of like the highest calibration that I can currently think of. And whether, it happens or not, or like this cruise or whatever, just like whatever, right? Your crazy things you're reaching for, just calibrate to it. Just lean in even more. Just lean into it and clear on it and just lean in. And because I think I have this, currently I'm working through this doubt where it's like, this last year I've been getting so good at being so specific and just literally manifesting whatever I want, like to the point where it's almost like fuck, like fuck what's like in store for me. Like here's just I'm just gonna manifest directly, and I think I just got the message. I think it's for me and Jasmine too. Is yeah, reach for that thing. Reach for that thing that the highest version of what you want, and lean in on it as much as possible. And if you quote unquote fall short, you're still all that calibration, all that energy work you're doing, you're gonna be in a way more elevated place. And
Hmm.
God's hand is always under you. So yes, you're going through the unknown, but God's hand's always under you. So when you even if you somehow don't achieve that, you're gonna fall to like a way higher place, and you're always gonna be in good hands. So Jasmine, think about it. Like think about every time we try to do anything, like in our past we've been friends for 6 years now, but like, yeah, like it's just crazy. Like, like
Crazy.
when the past 5 or 6 years, let's say, like, there's things that we try to achieve, and then at that time we might have fall short of, like, me with relationship stuff, right? And then whatever. Like, I could think of you, like, you wanted to make that jump like a few years ago in Costa Rica, right? And then, but
Hmm.
like, and you tried we both tried our best. You tried your best to calibrate to like not having to work, whatever, and whatever, and just manifest the money and stuff like that. And I mean, technically, that exact thing didn't exactly happen for you at that moment, but you fell into an amazing, like, high paying remote 9 to 5 job, like, and everything, and it's like extremely fucking abundant.
Yeah.
Like, so what I'm saying? Like, I hope this sounds like makes sense. What I'm saying is go crazy, like go crazy with how you calibrate. And if you quote unquote fall short, like it will be in a whole new crazy, it'll still be a crazy place. It'll still be a way more elevated place. So just go for it. And yeah, like God's hand's always under you, even as you go through the unknown.
Two quick things on that because I'm getting these clearest images. The first one is like there's like the meme of like God's like your plan and it's like one rose and then it's like God's plan is like a bouquet of roses. So yes, exactly to your point, like
Yeah.
you can think that this is the thing that I want, this is the best thing for me, and there's so much say it's a person or whatever it is, a
Yeah.
relationship, a place that you want to visit, whatever it is, and
Yeah.
so you're like so focused on that thing that you don't realize that there's something so much bigger and better than that. That like the universe is like, I can't even give you that thing because you're gonna stay there if I give it to you because you wanted it so bad, and I have something so much better for you that I can't even let you land there.
Yeah.
So that is like again that's part of the unimaginable, that like the plan is even better than what you can plan, try to figure out and like
Yeah.
try to manifest and materialize. There's something better than that. And the second piece being in reference to like another Abraham Hicks term, vibrational escrow. The work that you do in this way is never wasted. You're literally feeding your every lifetime that you will ever live out from now on. Not only this one, but every single one of them. It is like that momentum that you're just churning and churning and churning. And so it's like you, it doesn't matter even what you're focusing on. What matters is that you're churning and that the momentum that you're creating for your soul's path will never go back down. Like the new baseline that you're setting every time you churn your energy through resistance, through the unknown, through all the things, is like just setting you at another tier of like ascended mastery, basically, as a soul. So like you can't fail. Literally, you can't fail. You can't lose. Even if your like small brain thought you wanted something and you didn't get that thing, A, you're gonna get something better, and B, you've just like fed your vibrational escrow for the duration of your soul's journey.
Dude.
Yo, yeah, go ahead.
So like, I wanted to ask, what's one message you would tell your younger self, or you like when you had started this journey?
Gosh, what is one message? I think, and kind of like to sum what we've talked about, like trust the plan, like trust the path completely, because of course like the path took me through like the loss of my mother and like other, you go through tragedy still, doesn't mean that you don't still experience the human experience. And in the tragedy, you're like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
And like once you get past the tragedy and can connect the dots, you're like, oh, that's why that happened. So if you can just trust the plan, whether you're at the very bottom of your barrel or the very tippy top of your mountain, like it's still all a part of the plan. It's still the resistance training. It's still the momentum building. Like no matter what it looks like, no matter what you've called into your reality by way of your vibrational ask, it's still the plan. And so if you can just like, they say the master is the one who meets the moment exactly as it is. Like, this is happening now. Okay. This is happening now. You don't have to make it good or bad. It just is. It is that. So your good or badness to it might be even more resistance rather than just like, this is happening now. I'm going to meet this moment exactly as it is. I'm going to take it. I'm going to address it and continue to live in reality and not like the delusion of my mind that's like trying to make everything a circus or crazy or dramatic or anything else. So I think trusting the plan is like such a, code.
Wow. Yeah, I just want to say there's probably things that like was said on this podcast that like has never been said before. Like
Yeah, I'm thinking the
anywhere.
same thing. So like what a leading edge conversation.
Wow. I always, after talking to her, I always gotta like decompress. Like I always gotta like, yeah. I always gotta go on a walk or something after this. Yeah. Any last thoughts for anybody?
Do either of you have like, what would you say to your
Yeah.
younger self?
Jasmine?
Honestly, probably as simple as like, it's all gonna work out.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, like, what do you think like us like 50 years in the future will tell us now? Right? Like it was probably the same shit. Like, bro, you got it, bro. You're so safe. Like go
Yeah.
crazier in the unknown, I would say. Like go crazier. Like literally go as crazy as your imagination can take you. Like just go insane. Damn. All
I
right,
resonate with
shit.
that hard.
Yeah. I think that's what we need to tell everybody right now. Go insane.
Go
Go
insane with it.
crazy.
Go crazy in your imagination. All right. Jasmine, do a closeout thing. Do a closeout thing for us.
I am absolutely good. I can't wait to re-listen to this. I think this episode was packed with so many gems. And Soleil, thank you so much for joining us. This was incredible.
Yeah. And follow Soleil.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. It's truly an honor. I love you guys so much. Like we
Aw,
have found our like cohort of Soul Tribe and like we're taking over the world, you guys. So go crazy.
Go
go
crazy!
crazy.